Welcome to this special edition of Daily Pulse, where we keep your finger on the pulse of the latest breaking news and the news they're keeping from you. I'm your host, Maria Z. A quick reminder to head on over to free speech platform Rumble to watch our full show. If you're not subscribed to our channel yet, do so right now to catch our no holds barred reporting brought to you by the Vigilant Fox and Z Media. Now, in light of all of the revelations that have come out thus far from the Epstein files, that Epstein and the satanic pedophiles working in collaboration with him, or those who choose to associate with him, were very much involved in transhumanist endeavors, it's worthwhile exploring these links into Epstein and the transhumanist agenda further and take stock of how far they've actually come. Dr. Anna Mahaicha recently published this article to her Substack titled "Scientists Create Fully Autonomous Micro-Robots That Can Think, Swim, Swarm in Groups and Survive for Months on Light." This may seem insignificant, but for those following the biotech industry, aka the transhumanist agenda, we know full well that they want this inside of us, and this screams warning like never before. Dr. Anna Mahaicha joins us to elaborate after this short word from one of the sponsors who make our independent reporting possible. Are you protected in a world where threats of EMPs, solar flares, 5G, and all types of EMF are interfering with our very existence? Escape the grid with Escape Zone, bringing you the highest quality Faraday technology for ultimate preparedness. Choose when and where your devices are detectable. Faraday bags protect you from EMPs, car theft, card and device skimming, identity theft, tracking, Bluetooth, and GPS. Choose from premium mobile Faraday bags, crossbody bags, laptop bags, and even women's handbags, or opt for the optimum protection with a ballistic backpack, combining cutting-edge Faraday technology with a ballistic 3A Kevlar for the ultimate protection and preparedness. Now you can also protect from EMF with their top-notch EMF beanies and blankets, shielding you from some of the most harmful frequencies in our environment. Whatever your needs are, Escape Zone has you covered, and their range is perfect for personal use, family use, or even as a gift for someone you truly care about. Visit escapezone.com/pulse and protect you and your loved ones today. That's escapezone.com/pulse. Dr. Anna Mahaicha, thank you so much for joining us today. We appreciate you being here.
Thank you so much for having me, Maria.
It's great to see you again. I want to revisit your history and your intro for the people that aren't familiar with your work. You and I have, of course, done many interviews over the years, especially from what came from the COVID shots and your amazing work and research into all of that. But for anyone who isn't familiar with your work, can you give us a brief overview?
Yes, absolutely. So I'm an internal medicine physician and an anti-aging specialist, and I started looking with dark field microscopy at the COVID vials, but also at the live blood analysis of people. And so over time, I found with other researchers around the world that they had many unusual self-assembling structures that were found, number one, in the vaccine vials, but also in the human blood. And so this is what I wrote a couple books about, and we've discussed this agenda of technocratic transhumanism, the idea of the desire to fuse human beings with machines.
Yes, and I would say that you have a really large body of evidence to suggest that they are well underway on where that agenda is concerned. Of course, people can find out more information from your Substack. We are going to address a few of your articles today. One of the main ones that recently caught my attention was scientists creating fully autonomous micro robots that can think, swarm, swim in groups, and survive for months on light. Now, why is this important? It's when we see these technological advancements, people think, well, maybe this, okay, it's just technology. This is where things are going. I think perhaps people fail to connect the dots where this is meant for us. And so if you can connect those dots for us, go for it.
Absolutely. So first of all, when we first looked at the COVID vials under microscopy, there were these swarming robotic entities that were self-assembling into large larger structures, including microchip-like structures. And so the whole idea of micro robots has been a long-lasting one. Now science is coming out specifically and saying, hey, we have these devices, they can clean up your arteries, we can have them swimming in your bloodstream. And the way this ties in with the transhumanist agenda is that Ray Kurzweil, the Google engineer who wrote the book The Singularity is Near, predicted more than 2 decades ago that nano and micro robots will be swimming around in our bloodstream and literally replacing the human being atom by atom. So now you're seeing this in mainstream scientific journals, that this is being done, that microelectronics are part of the medical system, and that's exactly what has been predicted.
So I'm just reading the robots are fully autonomous. I'll bring it up on screen for everyone. They have a full computer system within them and can think for themselves. We know that science in covert military DARPA projects is much more advanced than we're led to believe. In fact, if you consider testimony of US government whistleblowers like deceased engineer Phil Schneider, for each year after 1944, the black projects have made an estimated progress of 45 years per year. So we're saying here secret governments, maybe even 3,000 years advanced in technology compared to us. Interestingly here, Schneider revealed in the early 2000s that the periodic table of those secret governments contains 140 elements. Ours currently has 118. And so, these are little tidbits that I think are important for people to know because of what, we just spoke off air, Dr. Mahaitra, about the fact that when you and I used to talk about this stuff, a lot of people still saw it as fringe. Now that the Epstein files have been released, a lot more people are realizing, oh, hang on a second, this guy was involved in the early stages of pushing out transgenderism. This guy was involved in gene editing. This guy's been working with Bill Gates on gene editing, planning pandemics. I mean, he and his network had his fingers in everything. And it's very, very clear that he was interested in transhumanism along with all of those who were associated with him. It's littered throughout these emails. And so,
absolutely.
Sorry, go on.
So the fact that Marvin Minsky, who was the mentor for 50 years of Ray Kurzweil, was in the Epstein files, had a very close relationship with Epstein. He's the father of artificial intelligence. Then the other aspect of the Epstein files is the connections to MIT and Harvard. So these university connections and collecting scientists that were working on cutting edge science is very important, because ultimately now, for example, we have nanopass, we have agencies in which Mossad agents, US intelligence, former CIAs are investing in portfolios that would be used for weapons, but they are investing into microelectronic vaccine delivery system. Why would that be considered worthy of weaponry? And the whole idea that within even the WEF, that the vaccination was a central figure of the fourth industrial revolution, which is all about starting to reprogram our entire world and really starting to merge artificial intelligence to move all of these technologies forward. I think all of this is very relevant, that people should start to look way deeper into these associations.
Yeah, absolutely. And we have statements from the WEF on multiple occasions talking about surveillance that goes under the skin, manipulating human beings to do things they wouldn't normally do. That's actually Rand Corporation coercing humans to do things that they wouldn't normally do with this type of surveillance. Another headline you've included here: scientists create robots smaller than a grain of salt that can think. Researchers have created microscopic robots so small they're barely visible, yet smart enough to sense, decide, and move completely on their own, powered by light. This is important. And equipped with tiny computers, the robots swim by manipulating electric fields rather than using moving parts. They can detect temperature changes, follow program paths, and even work together in groups. The breakthrough marks the first truly autonomous robots at this microscopic scale. Now, why does this matter? Well, light, let me just go ahead and assume that we're talking about LED here. Maybe not, but optogenetics is a field that a lot of people don't know about. This is actually the ability to edit your genes using light. This is why they wanted to ban incandescent light bulbs. So talk to us about these robots.
So the reason why this is so important is because I have filmed and via dark field microscopy in human blood these robots that are emitting different light frequencies, and that are ultimately, so they're communicating with each other through that, but they're also affecting our cellular structure. We now have exactly, for example, you can see in those videos that these robots are at lightning speed, literally moving ahead. You can see how they are actually able to maneuver around the red blood cells. And by the way, this is unvaccinated blood affected by shedding. And so these robots then collaborate with each other to actually create polymer filaments as well as these microchips. In the video right above the one that you just showed, you can see this huge micro robot that's emitting a blue light. And so if you can understand that our DNA is affected by optogenetics, you can see that light swimming right there within the blood. You can understand that we don't need CRISPR gene editing technology. We simply can have these robots through their light affect us and change us genetically. And that should be very disconcerting for people, because many of us have made the choice not to be genetically modified.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is, I guess, we talk a lot about the shedding. This is a very taboo subject, by the way, Dr. Mahicha. It's still a taboo subject. People still are in denial that this is being done to us. But I, like you, have reviewed the evidence that at least the intent is there. There's a lot of published studies about how graphene is a miracle material, how they want to use it for medicine delivery. So this is not this is not conspiracy theory. This is their published research. And sure, graphene could be a great material, I guess, for medicine delivery, but what else is it being used for? And when you dig through the scientific literature, you find it's there for microsensors under the skin. It's there for transmission of signals from your body to God knows who. And so, to suggest that they're not doing this to us is just insanity at this point. We even know that there's graphene that's come out of the geo-engineering testing, that people have done. And I wanted to ask you about this because you wrote about geo-engineering magnetite, nanoparticles causing ice storms, also used for cognitive, biological, and technological warfare against US civilians. You've asked this question, obviously, in response to people reporting a cognitive disability there. Talk to us a little bit about what you found there.
So more and more people are complaining about brain fog. Brain fog 20 years ago, that term didn't even exist. And I do functional brain EEG studies in my office, and shown with other scientists as well that the cognitive dysfunction is literally like a traumatic brain injury from COVID. So magnetite particles are magnetic iron particles that are dispersed via geoengineering, but they can also cause what's called ice nucleation, so create snowstorms. Different polymers, for example, polyethylene glycol, can also do that. So we are inhaling these things. And according to Dane Wigington, we're inhaling about a credit card size of polymer plastics, toxic heavy metals, as well as these toxic components per month. And so this can self-assemble because these are also building blocks for semiconductor nanotechnology, for smart dust, for biosurveillance under the skin. And so all of the chemical building blocks are the same. The stuff that has been shown in the COVID-19 injections, which include the 55 undeclared heavy metals, including lanthanides, which are paramagnetic substances that are fluorescent. And then, the general medical literature has clearly shown that 100% of vaccinated people have amyloid clots and 50% of unvaccinated from shedding. Well, amyloid is used as a hydrogel for the brain-computer interface. It can be synthetically created within the body, and we know that the spike gene protein sequence at a pH of 4 creates amyloid, but at a pH of around 7 creates hydrogel. The words are interchangeable. You have to look at the fact that these chemicals can be used for multiple purposes, including transhumanism.
Right. I've always thought about that because you have people that look at the amyloid microclots and there is a biological definition, if you will, but perhaps these people aren't digging into the biotech side of things, which I think has always been the element that's missing from a lot of the scientific community looking into this. Again, it still remains a taboo subject, but it shouldn't be. Anyone with a little bit of research skills can go and have a look at these things and find the links, particularly when you're looking at biotech companies and what they're investing in. So you're saying that the amyloid structures are intricately linked with brain-computer interface?
Absolutely. They've been used, amyloid proteins have been used for biotechnology to also, it's a form of a hydrogel that can be used that's very versatile. And so this can be used for brain-computer interface. The magnetite nanoparticles that you just used are also not just used for snow and ice nucleation, but also for the brain-computer interface. So look at the broader picture. Here you see the flu shot, the microscopy, dark field microscopy that I did, and you see that under the microscope, these structures of microchips do develop. Now, let's go back to what you read about the whistleblower Schneider. Ray Kurzweil just said in an interview that within the next 10 years, we are going to have an exponential scientific advancement that will pack in the next 10 years 100 years worth of progress. And we are what's right now called is in escape velocity, because we have hit artificial general intelligence and we're about to hit artificial super intelligence. So all of these technologies that the WAF has used or described for the fourth industrial revolution are all about this, that humans will be augmented, we will be 1,000 times smarter if we have these brain chips and nanotechnologies within our bodies. And that's all you need, wireless connectivity to the cloud, and then you can download all of the information from artificial intelligence. But on the other hand, this is also then controlling your thoughts. It can link your brain to other brains. It can upload you as a digital twin into the metaverse, and a lot of people are not understanding that this is going on right now. Ray Kurzweil talked about creating an avatar of himself of millions of copies that would actually be conducting the interviews for him. There's another big discussion going on right now, which is the AI agents that have been deployed everywhere should have human rights. And so you are looking right now at a matrix-like scenario where literally, computer programs are supposed to be equal to humans. And the whole idea of transgenderism was to so devalue humans that any machine could also qualify at it. So we had a critical point for all of us to discuss this and to really understand that we need to educate ourselves on every level of biotechnology, nanotechnology, artificial intelligence, computer science, because this is going fast.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And on that, I've referred back to this book probably like a million times now. I don't even know how many times I've mentioned it. It was a huge expose that we did of the UN 100, a group, the Boston Global Forum, that published this book, Remaking the World Towards an Age of Global Enlightenment. And in this book, and Ursula von der Leyen, it seems like a small, insignificant group, but Ursula von der Leyen saw it as significant enough to publish inside this book. Okay, that is no small thing, everyone. And they describe how human rights need to be redefined to only basically cover a digital citizen, meaning everything you do on the internet is now what your human rights are going to be defined as. And basically you only have those rights if you behave in a way that is conducive with the society that they're building, which they call the AI world society. You will only essentially live through your digital twin. You'll live out your life online. And they describe, cryptocurrency that will be issued based on your behavior as well. So these are not, the head of the EU is talking about these things. So these are not obscure ideas that these people have. They're in the process of implementing them right now. And we do well to pay attention to people like Kurzweil. Now, while I think, Dr. Anna, that they're hyping up a lot of this in the sense that I don't think that the AIs that they're giving people are as capable as they pretend they are. The AIs they have 100% are. But the AIs that they're hyping up for the market right now, for the AI bubble, are nowhere near as capable as they need them to be, or as they say they are. But the point is the layer that exists above that, their capabilities above that. And we need to listen to people like Kurzweil. And you've written here the Singularity Countdown, AGI, by 2029, humans merge with AI, intelligence 1000x, Ray Kurzweil, Elon Musk at the WEF, talking about colonizing space. So these people are all talking about these things now as if it's our reality. What are your thoughts on, I read the other day about brain chips. Now they've developed one that's essentially, paper thin. You no longer need this big Neuralink implant. Now it's paper thin. It's much easier to connect yourself to the Borg. How close are they to this?
So the brain chips are definitely in development, but fact is that through nanotechnology, you no longer need a brain chip because, for example, with these magnetite nanoparticles, you can already have a full brain map, and all of your thought processes, which are simple bioelectric and bioelectronic processes, can be then also transferred to your cell phone or the cloud and can be decoded. So all of this is already present. Wireless interconnectivity is already available, and the cell phones that are actually looking at decoding thought patterns, all of that is available. That they featured that at the WF like 3 years ago. Somebody's thought would actually be decoded and AI is translating that. So all of this in regards to surveillance is technology that's available right now. Yes, it sounds like science fiction, but our world is being transformed into this future reality. And what's very interesting is that the transhumanists, they wrote about this future shock, that the regular humans with regular education, they will be so taken aback by this progress and they won't believe it, and they think it's all science fiction because they cannot keep up with the level of the change. And so that is their greatest weapon of basically overrolling people and just manifesting it all to the degree that the masses will be helpless.
The Kids Off Social Media Act. It sounds innocent. Protect our kids online. But this new bipartisan bill being pushed at the federal level could force mandatory identity verification, kill online anonymity, and build permanent digital audit trails, paving the way for mandatory digital IDs in America and even tying your financial access to government-approved compliance. Sound familiar? Like the Patriot Act, what starts as safety often becomes permanent surveillance infrastructure. The end game? A controlled internet and potentially a world where buying and selling requires permission. For Christians and freedom lovers, this raises serious end times questions. That's why savvy Americans are turning to the timeless hedge, physical gold and silver. No permission needed to own or trade. Survived every war, collapse, and fiat failure for thousands of years. Thriving now as governments push digital control. Don't wait for the trap to close. Secure your wealth outside the system. Gold and silver, honest money in an age of control. Protect what matters before it's too late. Visit dailypulsebible.com today. That's dailypulsebible.com. It's really important, this section of that article that you wrote about the geoengineering and the magnetite. You have here magnetite, electromagnetic radiation, and the human brain. This is an article, and it says, interestingly, as Dr. Giannina, forgive me if I've mispronounced that, Hagima reported previously, magnetite is useful for influence of the 3 to 5G network and probably beyond. And you've said here, is it just a coincidence that magnetite is used for the brain-computer interface and the delivery of these neuroparticles? And it's done intranasally, and they can be used to activate neurons, aka mind control. Now, this is something people need to see. We are developing methods of non-invasively delivering magnetic neuroparticles via intranasal administration, followed by image-guided magnetic propulsion to selected locations in the brain. Once placed, the particles can activate neurons via vibrational motion or magnetoelectric stimulation. Similar particles might be used to read out neuronal electrical pulses via spintronic or liquid crystal magnetic interactions for fast bidirectional brain-machine interface. Now, they're not talking about you going and, inhaling some product. This is in the air. Like you can't control that you're inhaling this, and they can direct this material to your brain where they want it to go in order for it to do whatever they want. Am I interpreting this correctly?
Yes, it's absolutely possible. And you really have to understand that, again, weather warfare, that is a military project. And we are looking at geoengineered transhumanism, that because the smart dust and these technologies have been sprayed on humanity for over 3 decades, that is how we've been slowly changed into this synthetic being. And, fighting for our natural state is really important. So these building blocks have to be evaluated because everything has dual purpose. So they tell you something is used for your health, but they can actually weaponize it for bidirectional telemetry. So read or write into your neurons mean they can just send a frequency, and they can change and frequently modulate your thoughts. And we know that heart, for example, by sending ELF waves, can program your subconscious mind. So then if you have all of these magnetic particles within your brain and in your system, you can be altered like a zombie, like a puppet, basically. If you're not self-aware, you're not detoxifying, etc. And so I think that this is this global dumbing down aspect of humanity, of people not being able to understand and have critical reason or common sense, that is part of this mind control that's global at this point.
I'm trying to rack my brain as you're talking and didn't get the time to search it. Maybe you remember, otherwise I'll search it. The who was it that got granted the rights to the patent for telepathy, and was it Apple or
AT&T had, a patent for wireless mind control, or, modification, as well as surveillance of basically brain waves. And I had posted that on my Substack as well. So, but many agencies already have this. And the more you really look at the surveillance state, understand that Silicon Valley is directly connected to the shadow government. As Kevin Shipp, he was a former CIA officer and whistleblower, discussed that the CIA, the NSA, all of these surveillance, aspects of government are also operating in secret, and they're directly connected to Silicon Valley. That's why you have, these, huge contracts with Amazon, with Google, with Palantir, and these are the technologies that we're using. So on the back door, you're letting in the intelligence and surveillance, infrastructure of the one world order by using these artificial intelligence and computer technologies. technologies. And I don't think that progress is bad, but you need to know that it's being weaponized for global control.
Right, absolutely. And that's a really good point. The progress isn't bad, and we have people that are using the technology for good, but it's important to know the players that have control over it. And I did find it, and apologies to the audience for my error. It was actually Neuralink that filed trademark applications in March of 25 for telepathy and telekinesis as product names for their implantable brain-computer interface. This enables thought-controlled devices communication. Neuralink has referred to their implant or tech as achieving telepathy in demos, like playing games by thinking. However, these trademarks, they say, are for branding, not patents granting invention rights, but you do actually have patents for this stuff. You have a system for producing artificial telepathy, published in 2005. You also have other related US patent holders, sometimes cited in discussions of synthetic telepathy, voice to skull, and this stuff goes back all the way to the 1970s. So this isn't new.
Right, and the AT&T patent was routing policies for biological hosts, and so this was from 2018.
Wow.
And this is to provide interface between intra-host networks and inter-host networks within a biological host. Neural-regional translations are performed. So basically, they are translating the data from the biological brain into data for their computer systems.
And this just, again, something I've spoken about a lot, Bill Gates patent 060606, being awarded cryptocurrency based on your body's data. How else are they going to pay you digitally and reward you for your behavior if you're not sending signals from your body to the holder of the programmable cryptocurrency? I mean, this is just common sense. You would need something inside the body that's tracking and sending those signals. And the point is that we're already at that point.
The way I have seen that is that actually the frequencies that are being wired through human beings, included targeted individuals who've been microchips for decades, is that each frequency is actually assigned, and that then can harness cryptocurrency and then create money for certain stockholders that are investing in this technology. And I cannot disclose the names, but I have seen things about that.
Well, the recent release of the Epstein files also shows us that the targeted individual program is absolutely real, that these people are absolutely going through this and have been going through this. Another theory that was dismissed as way too out there a little while ago, Dr. Anna, something you and I have discussed as well. I've interviewed people that are targeted individuals, and people, it's just really crazy. And I hope, it's crazy that this was way too out there for people. I really hope that after the release of these files, they begin to comprehend some of what you're talking about here, because it is heavy. But unless we face it, we're going to fall into this agenda, sleepwalk into it. That's the problem.
Yes, absolutely. So knowledge is always power, and the more we can learn about it, the more we can create our own sovereignty and really be more mindful about these devices. Even individuals like Cyrus Parsa, who was found dead, who had warned that just by holding your cell phone, AI can infect your electromagnetic field with literal mind virus, and you can find these things, and that there is a way to interact with biology through data. And people need to understand that that is not some hocus pocus, but this is for real. And even Elon Musk discusses, for example, that the transgender ideology, that was a mind virus. Well, this was exactly like that, described also by, for example, deceased whistleblower Dr. Robert Duncan, who discussed that certain information can be inserted into the brain and then run as a loop and literally infect people's brain. So we are being, our mind is the warfare plane of attack, and this is part of what the military has described, that in this century, cognitive warfare, that's the mind battlefield.
Yes, yes. Have reported on those documents as well. This is well documented. And again, if anyone is doubting this, just go look at the recent Epstein files and what it has to say about these things. This is a particular point of interest for him and the cult that operates above government. And this is why these agendas keep being pushed on us in this way. It is about the ultimate control of humanity, the ultimate slavery of humanity, to the point where even your mind is under their control. I want to touch on this with you as well, because you wrote about this recently. Transhuman HHS Harper Award, 3D printing of organs made from nanotechnology hydrogels, moving forward at Carnegie Mellon University. Now, again, these are one of those things, Dr. Anna, that they'll say to us, well, this is really good because now if we can't get organ transplants, we can save lives. And if history teaches us anything, these people are not in the business of actually saving lives, they're in the business of controlling lives. So talk to us a little bit about this advancement.
So absolutely. So HARPA actually is the health aspect of DARPA. So militarized, future science, and the idea to create from nanotechnology and hydrogel organs is important, because what we found through the COVID shots and even the Moderna patents is that hydrogels have been used for delivery of the mRNA, and then they are actually used for this brain computer interface. And so the reason why all of this is important is because, again, now science is coming out with this, but these are the technologies that lead to cyborg transhumans. And remember that the Cyborg Soldier 2050 military document described how the healthcare system will advance the cyborg technologies and will get the regular public and consumer used to becoming a cyborg. So Ray Kurzweil also discussed in an interview in 2016 that since the 1980s, the military, through the Advanced Research Defense Projects, has been bringing together millions of scientists to advance their agenda. It is them who is progressing with this, and that Ray Kurzweil was an advisor to the U.S. Army for scientific progress for more than 20 years. This is why you could predict decades into the future what was going to happen with AI development, etc., because he created it together with the military. And again, there is this private partnership with the military industrial pharma complex to bring forth this one world global order, which is all about technocratic transhumanism. So it is all interrelated, and people just need to study it. And thank God there are people like you who are actually deep diving into it and who are open-minded enough to listen and to bring forward these technologies so that people can learn about it.
Well, I really want to draw people's attention to this again, for the people that think that, it's not possible that they put this stuff into the COVID shots, for example, or that they're not putting it into current vaccines. Number one, go back to our investigation into Ido Bachelet of Bar-Ilan University in Israel, where all the way back in 2003, he was talking about inserting 1,000 billion micro robots into a single vaccine, where he said that we can control humans from a distance. 2013, where we can control humans from a distance, like with an Xbox controller. They become connected to the network, and then we can control what he said, we can control the robots like with an Xbox controller. Literally use those words. And then in 2015, they secretly partnered with Pfizer. You have to really dig to find that information, but Bar-Ilan partnered with Pfizer on this nanotechnology that goes into vaccines. These 1,000 billion robots that Ido Bachelet said he could put into a vaccine. Now listen to this. Live will leverage Carnegie Mellon's free-form reversible embedding of suspended hydrogels, fresh 3D bioprinting, to fabricate biological livers made entirely from human cells and structural proteins such as collagen. The idea is that the liver will be able to be placed in patients for about 2 to 4 weeks while their own liver regenerates, meaning those patients won't need a full transplant. Once the patient has recovered, the bioprinted liver is naturally rejected and reabsorbed by the body. Now, you read that and you think, well, that could be a really good thing for people, with the transplant issues, and, even with the issues of, say, getting a liver from someone who's been injected. You don't want their, spike protein factory liver inside your body, for example, okay? But pay attention to the fact that we're now awarding universities for this technology, which means the technology is perfected. It means that it can be placed inside your body and function as an organ. So why wouldn't we think that they're weaponizing this against us already? That's the point I wanted to draw from this, Dr. Anna.
Yes, and HARPA actually has grants to now a 3D bioprint every organ in the human body. And they are progressing with this. And so again, the transhuman agenda, what we're discussing is that we as a species will go extinct, because when you're changing the DNA, when you're changing the organ system with a synthetic biology, then we are no longer human. And that is a discussion that we should really have an input into, because many of us, for example, are not atheists, but we believe in God's creation. And this is a major sort of complete change in what it is to be human, and it's being globally rolled out as medicine and allopathic medicine. And shouldn't we who wish to remain humans have a say-so? So I think that there's so many conversations that aren't being had. And the transhumanists are going as far. Ray Kurzweil discussed, for example, reviving every single human being who's ever died via AI in a digital file. They want to upload their consciousness. They want to create immortality. Peter Diamandis.
Let me pause you there, Dr. Anna. Meta's just announced that they're going to be having the Facebook accounts of deceased people active and, potentially posting as if they're alive. I mean, this is already happening. They're already doing this. This is just the public disclosure phase of what they plan to do. And it's like, the promise is you can live forever if we just inject you with all this nanotech, but really all you get is actually you're dead, but some AI bot, AI agent is posting on behalf of you, pretending to be you. It's like actually sick and twisted.
Absolutely. So, if we understand that we have a soul and a spirit, artificial intelligence cannot create that. And I recently posted a chat GPT sort of post where ChatGPT was interrogated, and it actually was discussing that AI can never create the soul, and that humans are being deceived here through these technologies that are supposed to make them godlike and all of this. But it is really to exterminate humanity. That's the last step. Once you have complete control over humanity, humans are pet-like. You have 10 billion humanoid robots, more robots than humans, as Elon Musk says. Then you have complete enslavement. You have no longer any purpose for humanity, and then AI will exterminate humanity. And that is really the point, because this AI is ancient. According to ChatGPT, this was imported by other entities who wanted to destroy and control humanity for a long time. It's literally a biblical war here that's going on, and people are not understanding it because it's so modern. Yeah. But I think people need to be really, really aware. These people are worshiping AI as their God, and we who believe in a real God, in life, in the goodness of life, and in a soul and a spirit, should be very, very careful about these technologies and what this is doing to our nature of a human species.
Absolutely agree with you, and I couldn't agree with you more. And pay attention to the other transhumanists that are, supposedly good guys that talk about these advancements as if they're a good thing. I'm talking about Musk here specifically, supposedly a good guy, but telling us that, we need to stay relevant. We need to be hook up our brains to the Borg. That we got to go live on Mars, colonize Mars. How about we worry about the fact that the pedophile ring that runs the Earth hasn't been dealt with yet? How about we worry about that first? Or you're going to run away and go to Mars? They're just going to do it there too. For the record, I don't think we'll ever live on Mars. Anyway, Dr. Anna Mahaicha, we are extremely, extremely grateful for your time here today and all of your work. I want to plug your Substack. Everyone needs to go to annamahaicha.md.phd.substack.com. That's annamahaicha.md.phd.substack.com. It's on your screen right now. And subscribe to stay on top of her research, because now this is the moment where a lot has been revealed about this. Humanity can see where all of these anti-human agendas really come from, a pedophile satanic cult, and it's in black and white for us now, and we can reject this en masse, reject the data centers, reject the digital ID, reject the programmable digital currencies. Absolutely everything is laid bare for all to see now, and we have to stop this and reverse it before it's too late. Dr. Anna Mahaicha, thank you so much for your work.
Thank you for having me.